the biggest thing that we had was the finances talk with Zaslav, as well as that, all the DC shit that was going down. So it started off like with Batgirl being axed and not being released on any platform as well, which is fucking unreal.
Yeah. So that was such a weird kind of headline that came out, eh? Where it was like, Batgirl axed won't be released anywhere. I was like, it's not April.
Yeah.
Like, can't be an April Fool's Day joke. It's not.
I thought it was a joke, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was maybe like a little piece of promo or something like that.
Yeah. I thought it's been axed from, the headline was Batgirl has been axed, and then I'll click on it and be like, from this release date, you know what I mean? And then we're just changing release dates. But obviously...
Because it's going to be shown theatrically.
Yeah. But obviously not.
But that wasn't the case at all. So it completely got axed. The main reason being is that the look and the feel of the movie wasn't up to the standards that Zaslav and his team sort of had in mind.
Yeah.
There's also a new plan that's kind of happening behind the scenes over at Warner's and how they're going to restructure everything.
Yeah, so on that, Zaslav was speaking about it, and he says that our ambition is to bring Warner back and produce great, high-quality films. He said that we can build long-term, sustainable growth business out of DC. We're not releasing a film before it's ready. So he says the focus is to make these films as good as possible. He also said that they were looking at what Feige and Iger and those guys over there at Disney did with the MCU, and they're looking at emulating that now, which is what should have been the case from the start. I mean, it should have been a Man of Steel movie, a Man of Steel 2, into then you can do your Wonder Woman and Batman and all that after that, and then start doing your team up films.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. I think it's a good plan that they have, but I think killing things in basically when it's ready to be released is probably the wrong approach. Know what I mean?
Yeah. But we know why they would do that, right? So they can the $90 million that they spent on this movie, they'll be able to take as a loss and claim it back from the government, right? But that means that we will never ever see this film.
You know what we got to do then? We got to infiltrate Warner's.
Yeah, I got to break into Warner.
And then just sort of go, well, let's get a screening of that then.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to get to see it.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, though, I think that, if they're saying they wanted a bigger movie, or at least a better looking and feeling movie, I think that they could just get the boys back. And Leslie Grace, and just reshoot. You know what I mean? Make it literally the bigger movie that they're expecting.
Yeah, but then they'd have to put more money into it and get more people sort of synced up to do the reshoots. I don't think they wanted to put any more money into it than they already had.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like it didn't even feel like the movie was finished.
Well, it wasn't, right? So they still had VFX that needed to be inserted into whatever screening was shown.
That's right.
Right. So yeah, it wasn't completely finished, but judging by what they've seen, they just obviously didn't like what they saw.
And I think it's more to do with scale, because from the like the test questions that they asked at the test screenings was, did this movie feel like it belonged in the cinema or the streaming?
Yeah.
And one person said it felt like X-Men Dark Phoenix. Another
Ooh.
person said it felt like a bad TV pilot. And that question wasn't geared towards should we scrap it. It was more towards should we release it in the cinemas or streaming. Right. And then from that, Zaslav kind of went, nah, we're just going to scrap it. Or his team kind of came to the decision. I won't say it's just him, but he's probably like the mouthpiece for it, pause.
Yeah, that's right.
But what I noticed about like Bilal and Adil is that they both do a lot of their work post-production, like put their spin on it. So I don't, if the movie wasn't finished and the test screening was to kind of gauge the scale of it, you weren't going to get the nuances that they would have put into it had they completely finished the film.
100%.
And you go.
I'm just going to say we saw what they did with Miss Marvel. Yeah,
and they directed the first and the last episodes of that show, and they were probably the best episodes of the season.
Yep.
The test screening scores for the movie were actually on par with Shazam 2, which is wild.
Yeah.
Because that movie had maybe another $60-70 million added to its budget. Like, if they had done the same with Batgirl, surely it would have... You know what I mean? It would have been at a scale that they could have put out.
Well, from what I was hearing about that test screening for Shazam 2, they were thinking the product that they showed was just using like stand-in CGI and stuff like that. So they're expecting the scores to be different next time you do have it screened when it's properly done as well.
True.
For me, it's also what sort of people are in these screenings. Like, are they picking people? You know what I mean? Is it what's the word?
Like, is it a true representation of the demographics?
That's right. Like, is it direct? Did they choose people? Like, is it directed at, like, you know? Okay, these people are actual DC fans. They pick up on all this sort of stuff. You know, they know the history. They're actually excited for this movie. I mean, our you know, we have people out there that will hate a movie before it's even fucking come out.
It's true.
Like, what is it pointed? Is it did they get to choose people? Like, what's going on here? Did they get, like, you know, the comicbook.com guys to come in and review it? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because usually, remember when we got invited to the test screening for The Dictator?
Yeah.
It was legit someone outside just handing out like little postcard type things, invites.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I don't know if it's like blind test screenings where they just like show up at this time and date and then just go watch whatever's fucking there.
That's usually how it works. But for me, like, that's great. You'll get a sense of what the general population is thinking. But this is a specific group of people. These are comic book film people.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's anyone in the sort of the comic book film TV world that's come forward and said, hey, I watched the movie and this is my thoughts.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So it probably wasn't. You could probably, I haven't even checked, but scour like Twitter and stuff for reactions from people that went to go see it. But it just seems, I don't know, it seems premature. Or it seems very deliberate in terms of their plan that they have in place.
That's right.
But I'll just read Adil and Bilal's statement. So, we are saddened and shocked by the news. We still can't believe it. As directors, it is critical that our work be shown to audiences. And while the film was far from finished, we wish that fans all over the world would have had the opportunity to see and embrace the final film themselves. Maybe one day they will, inshallah. Our amazing cast and crew did a tremendous job and worked so hard to bring Batgirl to life. We are forever grateful to have been part of that team. It was a dream to work with such fantastic actors like Michael Keaton, J.K. Simmons, Brendan Fraser, Jacob Scipio, Corey Johnson, Rebecca Front, and especially the great Leslie Grace, who portrayed Batgirl with so much passion, dedication, and humanity. In any case, as huge fans of Batman since we were little kids, it was a privilege and an honor to have been a part of the DCEU, even if it was for a brief moment. Batgirl for life. Yeah, I mean, that right there shows you that they didn't even complete the film.
No.
Like, those finishing touches weren't on it.
And it was also sudden for them.
Mm.
It's unreal. Also, when I saw that post that they put down, my first thought was just, had they managed to get the rights for the Jeopardy purple on the screen there for the background of that picture? As well as that, Leslie Grace did have something to say too. She said, Querida Familia, on the heels of the recent news about our movie Batgirl, I am proud of the love, hard work, and intention all of our incredible cast and tireless crew put into this film over 7 months in Scotland. I feel blessed to have worked among absolute greats and forged relationships for a lifetime in the process. To every Batgirl fan, thank you for the love and belief. Allow me to take on the cape and become, as Bab said best, my own damn hero. Hashtag Batgirl for life.
These, yeah.
So it's a big piece.
These are the people that are hurt the most by this, right? I mean, can you imagine booking the next job and saying, so what did you do before? And then saying, well, I had a Batgirl movie that was shot, that was nearly finished, that didn't come out yet. Like, it doesn't like, for you, it doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
As the star, as the directors, as, like, yeah.
Yeah. And at that point, like, you put in all this time and effort to prepare for the role.
7 months?
You did the fucking movie, right? Cuts, bruises, explosions, everything.
Mm.
And then not anyone's going to see it. The only people that seen it were test screening audiences that probably didn't know who the fuck Batgirl was and her origins and stuff.
That's right.
And execs who were just like, I don't think it's ready for the big screen. I don't think it's ready for any screen. And that feeling of having those people kind of make the decision for you, it's dog shit. Because had they known, hey, we're going to put this up theatrically, cool. I'll make a fucking movie that will be cinematic enough for you to chuck it up on the big screen.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think what they should do is take the bones of this and extend it out to 8 hours and make a Batgirl TV series on
That's
HBO
what they should have
Max.
done.
Yeah.
From the start.
From the start. From the
Because there's
jump.
a lot of lore there.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
And you could expand Keaton's role.
That's right.
Have him kind of play in the world a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently his role was legit going to be like, in the moment, hey, here's a gadget, or here's a clue, here's a tip of where to go next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently he was going to have like a pretty big like action scene in there as well. Who doesn't want to see Michael Keaton move in Batman's suit again?
As long as they fix that fucking cowl.
And
So that it's actually a bit
True.
more form-fitting on the cheeks, pause.
He can actually do this.
Okay,
Yeah. As long as they do that, we're good.
yeah.
It doesn't look like it's going to be
Yeah.
like that, though.
True.
Nah. I don't think it's even going to be like that in The Flash.
So,
Me neither.
and like the ripples of this happening, you can see across all the potential films coming out later on too. So they're even talking about like a possible reshuffle of like Shazam and Aquaman 2 and things like that. And as well as that, there's also word that the Supergirl film's been scrapped. And Keaton, I think Keaton was meant to be in Supergirl as well, because his roles have gone from like 3 roles as Bruce Wayne Batman just down to 1 in the Flash now as well. So it's unreal.
It's just weird as well, because they must have had this in the plans, because Ben Affleck was spotted on set for Aquaman 2, and he's there shooting scenes now where it should have been Michael Keaton, because he was supposed to be the Batman going forward in this universe. Obviously not anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this puts a bad taste in Keaton's mouth as well, with all the shit that's been paused, that's been going on.
It's funny that like Peacemaker season 2 still goes on. So like, what does that then mean for like the Snyder canon? Because that's almost Snyder canon.
It is. I mean, they had bloody Aquaman and the Flash and stand-ins for Wonder Woman and Superman in the fucking show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from what I'm seeing, even with Joker 2 coming out, like, this still throws me off in regards to, do we have a multiverse going on? Like, what the fuck's going on? And as well as that, with Joker 2, does that mean, like, Zaslav's whole plan of having Todd Phillips as the Feige equivalent here at DC, is that moving forward as well?
It feels like he wants to have, like, a unified universe. But then, like, with properties like The Batman and then The Joker, that doesn't feel like it's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Unless those are just like offshoot films and they can do their own thing. But then there's still like the remnants of the Snyderverse that keeps going. The Aquamans, the Flashes, Wonder Woman. If Wonder Woman gets made now.
Yeah. I mean, if he wanted to do this, he has to completely redo it. You can't have remnants of the old universe and everything coming back to this new universe. You're going to have to get rid of Keaton. You're going to have to do everything. You're going to have to start fresh, man. That's the only way that people sort of stop viewing this as part of some other universe.
I think I would have preferred it if they did that.
Yeah.
Same. If they just like completely just like scraped everything off and then fucking started again.
Yeah. But
to
I mean,
that makes more sense.
100%.
It's also funny that like DC Films president Walter Hamada like basically didn't do shit with the whole Ray Fisher thing, but then heard about the film getting scrapped. I nearly walked out of the office. Mate, Zaslav, like, you know, seeing you reacting, it stuffed like $100 million in your mouth. You know what I mean? And he just shut up.
That's right. I mean, he was more sort of pissed off about the fact that, you know, the Hollywood Reporter dropped the news way before the cast and crew were even informed as well, which is kind of shitty of them to do.
That's right.
Just to break a story. But yeah, that guy is supposedly out after Black Adam.
Yeah.
I honestly think that I don't like the idea of Todd Phillips being the Feige. Feige is there because he has a great understanding of the properties over at Marvel. The only other person that could do that role for DC is Kevin Smith.
Fuck yeah.
That's
100%.
The only person I'd put in that role.
Yeah.
And Kevin, like, he needs that. He would like sort of usher in this grand bloody universe that is DC that only he sort of knows about. He's played in this universe for so long. He's done
written
comics
scripts for it.
Written scripts. Like, He knows. He knows these characters.
Fuck yeah.
He's always been the DC guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be like the golden age of DC comic book movies coming through, man. It'd be fucking crazy.
If he could like set the story for the next 10 years and the movies that they should make and how they connect and everything, that would make sense. Even if he didn't make a movie for them, or if he didn't, but just like stayed on as that sort of consulting capacity.
Yep. That's who should have always been there. It shouldn't have been Jeff Johns. It shouldn't have been that guy. We need an actual filmmaker that knows how to do this sort of shit over there. And he's the only person who could do it.
Yeah. I mean, Feige was producing films for like 5 to 10 years before he made his first steps in the MCU.
Yep.
What do you call it? You give Kevin time, he wouldn't just make this for fucking 10 years. This guy would give you, like, infinite amount of fucking ideas moving forward as well. Like, you would not have the space to, like, you know, interpret anything. He would give you everything at once.
But we could go to Kevin Smith tomorrow and he'll give you an outline of how it should run.
That'd be mad, actually, to kind of see him.
Yeah.
Like, break down what that first 10 years in the films that should come out.
Yeah, to see him map it out, which is, I'm pretty sure what Feige does. He sits down and he's got places on a board and it's, okay, this can go here and then this will go into this and then this, like he knows. Like Feige knows. Yeah. And that's what Kevin would bring to this. That's how it should be.
Then it'd be like Kevin versus Kevin.
Exactly.
Kevin squared, fucking hell. Good, but as well as that, like Feige's a really good relationship manager too. Like that guy actually sits down with all of his creators and knows like what they're going to do moving forward.